This final module is where we bring everything together by running the complete test suite, verifying coverage, and closing the course with a workflow you can use on a real Salesforce project. Here's the full journey across the course. Module 1 gave us the complete development environment. Module 2 covered Apex testing fundamentals and AAA pattern. Module 3 used Claude AI for test strategy. Module 4 used Claude Code CLI for test generation. Module 5 covered factories, test setup, bulk testing, and negative tests. Module 6 covered HTTP callout mock for API testing. Module 7 covered system.runs for permissions testing. Module 8 covered record trigger flow testing. Module 9 covered SF CLI test execution and coverage report. And now Module 10 is where we run it all and verify it works. At this point, we have a complete suite, not just one or two isolated tests. We have test data factory class or reusable test data. We have order service test with 9 test method, order validator test with 10 test method. We have payment callout service with two test and two mock classes, order trigger test class. We have order permission test with one method and order flow test with one method. That give us 26 test method in total with a target of 90% or better coverage on the production classes. Here's what a good coverage should look like by class. Order service should be around 90 plus. Order validator should be around 100. Payment cluster should be around 95. Order trigger handler may be a little lower if some method are still placeholder. If coverage is below target, use the CLI output to find the uncovered lines. Ask Claude Code a focus question like line 34 and 47 in order service class are not covered. What test scenarios cover them? Then add the test, redeploy and rerun. So I'm in VS Code. So over here I've got Claude Code editor open on the right hand side. I will tell Claude run all tests in the org with alias AF underscore demo. See, is asking the permission. I said yes. And then it is going to run. Let me just make it bigger. It is going to run this sfdx command, apex run test with code coverage in the result format. Now it is processing and it has given the alias. So it says all 40 passed. These are the classes. Then order validator. These lines are uncovered. So I'll say Claude, what scenarios are pending to cover? Let's copy this. Order validator. Make it 100%. Let's ask Claude this. So Claude is going to read that particular class and then it's going to tell us. And now it is also going to add those test methods. I say yes, add test method and deploy. Also rerun the test pass. So it's going to add the new two test methods. Now it is deploying. By saying all the test pass. Let's go back to presentation. This is one of the most important mindset shift in this course. Coverage does not equal confidence. A trustworthy suite uses strong assertions and not just null checks. Every public method have a happy path test. Every thrown exception has a negative test. Every trigger has at least one bulk test. Permissions are tested with system.runs. Flows are tested through DML plus a requery assertion. HTTP callouts are tested with HTTP callout mock. The coverage number is one dimension, and this checklist is the other dimension. You need both. If you remember one repeatable system from this course, remember this workflow. Write a new Apex class or pull an existing one locally with SF project retrieve command. Run Cloud Code and ask it to generate test class. Read every generated line by line. Strengthen weak assertions. Add missing edge cases. Push the code back with SF project deploy. Run the test, check the coverage, and then iterate again using the uncovered lines as the next prompt. That is the ongoing AI training workflow. At this point, you can do a lot more than just chase 75% coverage. You can write Apex unit test from scratch. You can apply the test data factory pattern. You can write test setup method and bulk test method. You can test triggers, services, and validators. You can mock HTTP callout with HTTP callout mock. You can test with different user permissions. You can test record trigger flows. You can see Claude AI for test strategy, Claude Code to generate tests, and the Salesforce CLI to run the interpret those tests. This is a real workflow, and honestly, it puts you ahead of how most Salesforce developer approach testing. Here's what to go next. First, explore the next layer of Salesforce testing tool. Stub API with Stub Provider for advanced mocking without HTTP. Web Service mock for SOAP callout. Test load data for CSV beats. Test data from static resources. And Scratch awk for isolated development environment. Second, practice with one real Apex class from an org you care about and use the exact workflow from this course to bring it up to strong assertion and solid coverage. And finally, keep your resources current with developer.salesforce.com for documentation, Trailhead for the Apex testing module, and Anthropic for the latest Claude documentation. The goal now is to keep building the habit, not just finish the course.